بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We have tawfiq alhamdulillah to continue our study of 8th section, which is about division or classification of being into one and multiple. We studied chapter 1. Chapter 2, I'm not going to talk about it. Basically is about lots of terms which are not necessarily needed for our discussion about philosophy right now. And even Allama at the end of this chapter says this is the way they have said in the books. He starts with talking about real unity and not real, unreal. Real unity is when something has unity. Unreal is that unity is for something else, but you attribute it to this. There is wasatiyya, there are uruz. And then lots of terms and technical terms come, but it's not that much about philosophy, and I think we don't need to discuss about this that much. We go to 3rd chapter. This is important. You are already familiar with this in logic. You have studied this. Also in philosophy, we have referred to this in previous course. الفصل الثالث الهوية وهو الحمل. The 3rd chapter is about هوية. هوية here means حمل, predication. When you say this is that, you identify something with another thing. When you say, for example, al-insanu haywan, insan is haywan, or al-insanu natiqun, or you say al-insanu dhahikun, zaydun alimun. All these sentences, statements are showing some kind of huwiyya, means something is something. You use predicate for a subject. من عوارض الوحدة الهوية كما أن من عوارض الكثرة الغيرية. One of the things that happen, one of the results or consequences of wahda is that you can then make haml between them. If two things have some kind of unity, then you can put them into a form of a statement and say this is that. And if there is kathra, there is no unity, then there would be otherness, ghayriyya. Because two things which are separate, then you cannot use them as subject and predicate. Unless among those two things which are, or three things which are kathir, if you find a unifying aspect, that then becomes one. Yeah? For example, there is a human being here, another human being is there. I cannot say this is that or that is this. I cannot say Zayd is Amr or Amr is Zayd. But I can find something common between them, and I can say that both of them are insan. That's different. But if you are talking about them as two separate things, there is no haml, there is no huwawiyya, there is no way to identify them with each other. So, min awarid al-wahda, one of the consequences of wahda is huwawiyya, kama anna min awarid al-kathrah al-ghayriyya. ثم الهوية هي الاتحاد في جهة ما. هوية is to have unity in one aspect. جهة ما. This ma is for ibham. It's not a specific. From one aspect, not necessarily a very particular. From any aspect, there must be one kind of unity that can be the basis for identifying them with each other. مع الاختلاف من جهة ما. So from one aspect they are similar, they have unity, they have ittihad. From another aspect they have differences. هذا هو الحمل. Haml is always like this. Haml always needs two things, not one thing. Two things, but they should have something in common. Even if you say al-insanu insanun, still there is separation. Ulama say you cannot say al-insanu insanun unless there was a discussion, there was something that questioned, doubted this. For example, if someone was talking very badly about human beings, and said, you see, so much of crime, so many crimes, so much corruption, all are there. Human beings are like wild animals. You say, al-insanu insan. Don't talk like this about human beings. Or if someone is too positive about human beings, I think all human beings are angels. You say, al-insanu insan. Yeah? So, as you see, this sentence only makes sense when there was a kind of confusion or a kind of suggestion as if insan is considered to be something other than insan, and we want to emphasize that al-insanu insan. Otherwise, it's tautology. It's useless, it's just repetition to say something itself. Even when you say al-insanu haywanun natiq, although insan is haywanun natiq, but haywanun natiq is different from insan. Insan is not detailed. Haywanun natiq is analyzed and detailed version of insan. So there's a difference between them. Yeah? So in haml, we need some kind of unity, some kind of ittihad, but also we need some kind of difference. We need both. ثم الهوية هي الاتحاد في جهة ما مع الاختلاف من جهة ما وهذا هو الحمل. This is haml, predication. ولازمه صحة الحمل في كل مختلفين بينهما اتحاد ما. It is valid, it is okay to do haml between two different things that have one kind of commonalities, one kind of unity between them. لكن التعارف خص إطلاق الحمل على موردين من الاتحاد بعد الاختلاف. But ta'aruf means conventionally, yeah, means this is the orf, this is the common view that they have used haml in two cases, haml awwaliya zati and haml shay'a sana'i. Okay, so it's not every type of unity.
Haml and predication, same thing.
Yes. لكن التعارف خص إطلاق الحمل على موردين من الاتحاد بعد الاختلاف. But convention or public opinion has limited application of haml in two cases, of اتحاد with اختلاف, of unity with difference. أحدهما, the first is أن يتحد الموضوع والمحمول مفهوما وماهية. You are familiar with this, حمل أولية ذاتي. When subject and predicate are the same in concept, in mahiyya, in quiddity. Okay? They are the same. The same means they have unity. Okay? What is the difference between them? وَيَخْتَلِفَ بِنَوْعٍ مِنَ الْإِعْتِبَارِ. They are different from each other only in some consideration. When two concepts are the same or two mahiyya are the same, from every aspect they become the same. Yeah? If two concepts are the same, if insan and haywan and natiq are the same, then they are always the same. Whether it is in mind, whether it is in external world, they are the same. But the difference is in consideration. There must be a point that has made us feel that we must affirm their unity. كالاختلاف بالإجمال والتفصيل. For example, they can be different in one being a whole, another is detailed. Okay? Ijmal means, mujmal means as a whole, as a compound. But the other one is mufassal, is detailed. في قولنا الإنسان حيوان ناطق. The concept of insan and the concept of haywan and natiq are the same. Actually here, they are both also mahiyya. You know, mafhum is more general than mahiyya because we have some mafahim which are not mahiyyat. You remember? We said mafahim are magulat ula, magulat thaniya. Magulat thaniya are also mantiqi and falsafi. Magulat ula, they are mahiyyat. But magulat thaniya are not mahiyyat. So mahiyyat is narrower than mafhum. Mafhum is concept. It's not that every concept is mahiyya. You remember? Al-insanu haywanu natiq. فَإِنَّ الْحَدْ عَيْنُ الْمَحْدُودِ مَفْهُومًا. Had is the same as mahdud. Definition had is the same as what is defined. Haywan and natiq is had the tam for insan. Is complete definition because has jins qarib wa fasl qarib. Yeah, it's had the tam. So it's complete. It's the best type of definition because we have had and ras, and then had can be had the tam, had the naqis. If you say al-insanu jismun natiq, this is had the naqis. Jismun natiq, because it doesn't include all mahiyya of insan. But if you say haywanun natiq is complete. Okay? So had, which is haywanun natiq, and mahdud, what is defined, which is insan, are the same. وإنما يختلفان بالإجمال والتفصيل. They are different from each other in the fact that one of them is mujmal, has ijmal, means it's like a whole, it's a compound, it's not analyzed. The other one is tafsil, it's detailed. Haywanat is expanded version or detailed version of insan. Another example. Sometimes ikhtilaf is not in ijmal or tafsil. For example, we say al-insanu insanun. Here it's more difficult. If you say al-insanu haywanatun, at least we say there is a difference in ijmal or tafsil. But you say al-insanu insanun. What is ikhtilaf here? What is difference? As I told you, it means that maybe someone said something that implied denial of the fact that insan is insan. And we want to remind him by emphasizing on the fact that insan is insan. Yeah? Either because he said something too bad or something too good, or you don't find any better explanation. Like, you know, one Iranian author has a book, Fatima asked. Yeah, so this is like tautology. But the reason he says this, he didn't want just to repeat the name. Okay, everything is itself. Fatima asked, and every name also the same as itself. No, he meant that I cannot find any description to do justice with who was Lady Fatima and what was Lady Fatima. So the only chance I have is to repeat. Yeah? Actually, he himself also borrowed this from another author. Not about Lady Fatima. He mentions himself. He refers to one writer who said something similar, and he says, I want to use like his style. He himself mentions in the lecture that. Because this was first a lecture. Then.
Can we say this is like balagha a bit as well?
Pardon?
Can we say it's a bit like balagha? Like you mentioned?
Yes. So there has to be a reason for that.
Jumlatul inkar, isn't it?
Pardon?
Somebody is disputing.
Either someone is disputing, or as I said, you don't find any better explanation. You say, what can I say? It's better to say Fatima is Fatima. وكالاختلاف بفرض انسلاب الشيء عن نفسه فتغاير نفسه نفسه ثم يحمل على نفسه. Sometimes the difference is by assuming, supposing that something is taken from itself. Insilab from salb means something is taken, is rejected, negated from itself. So it is different from itself. Then after supposing that it is different from itself, then we use as subject and predicate. ثم يحمل على نفسه. Why we do that? لدفع توهم المغايرة. To reject the false thought, توهم, illusion, the false thought that they are two things, they are different. Yeah, so someone talked about insan as if insan is not insan. فيقال الإنسان إنسان ويسمى هذا الحمل بالحمل الذاتي الأولي. This is called حمل ذاتي. Is essential because essential relation between them, and it's called also أولي. because it is something which is also very clear, and it's not about existential facts that you need to investigate. The second type of haml, وَثَانِيهِمَا أَنْ يَخْتَلِفَ أَمْران مَفْهُومًا. The second is that two things are different in concept, وَيَتَّحِدَا وُجُودًا, but they are the same in existence. Sorry, when I say they are the same in existence, I don't mean they are the same. I mean, in existence, they overlap. Do you know what I mean? For example, when I say Zaydun alimun, I don't want to say Zayd and alim are the same, but I want to say that here in outside world, Zayd and ilm have come together. If Zayd has ilm, I can say Zaydun alimun. The concept of Zayd, the concept of alim are different. There is no hamle awwal here. Because no matter how much you go deep into the concept of Zayd, which is insan, you don't find alim. Because Zayd is haywan and atiq. Yeah? So ilm is not part of the mahiyya of Zayd. But ilm existentially has belonged to Zayd. أن يختلف أمران مفهوما ويتحدا وجودا. Two things are different in concept, but they are identical in existence. كقولنا الإنسان ضاحك. Like when we say human being, or this particular human being, this alif and lam can be for jins, means human beings in general are dhahik, means they laugh, or this particular human being is dhahik. Dhahk means to laugh. Yeah? Or Zaydun qa'imun. Zayd is standing. Zayd is haywan and atiq, is insan. Qiyam is not part of mahiyya of Zayd. But if Zayd in reality in the external world has qiyam, so it means there is a existential connection here. Yeah? Existentially now Zayd and qiyam come together, exist together. يسمى هذا الحمل بالحمل الشائع الصناعي. Shai' because common. Shai' means it has shuyu', means common. Sana'i from sana'at. Sana'at means discipline. It doesn't mean industry here. Because sana'i sometimes means industrial or artificial. Al-qamar al-sana'i is satellite. But here comes from sana'at, means disciplines. In discipline, different sciences, normally we use this. We normally don't use hamla awwaliya zati except for definition. Yeah, most of the time we use this one. And also, please remember, when we say hamla awwali, it doesn't need to be al-insanu haywanun natiq or al-insanu insanun. Even if you say al-insanu haywanun, it is also hamla awwali. Even jins is hamla awwali. If you say al-insanu natiqun, but again it is hamla awwali. Because haywan and natiq are part of mahiyya. Doesn't need to be complete mahiyya. So whether you say al-insanu haywanun natiq or you say al-insanu haywanun or al-insanu natiqun, all of them is hamla awwali. If you say al-haywanu natiqun, it is hamla shay'a. You remember we had this before. If you use jins and fast as subject and predicate, because the relation between jins and fast is not hamla awwali. Fourth chapter, al-fasl al-rabi', taqsimatun lil-haml al-sha'i'. So the second type of haml, which is haml al-sha'i', has some classifications. ينقسم الحمل الشائع إلى حمل هو and later we say حمل ذي هو. We have who and we have ذي هو. Who هو is when you bring two concepts that very easily one of them can become predicate for the other one. For example, if I say Zaydun alimun, Zaydun adilun, it's who. But if I say Zaydun adlun, Zayd is justice. Instead of saying Zayd is just, if I say Zayd is justice, or instead of saying Zayd is alim, knowledgeable, I say Zayd is ilm. Okay? So ulama say here, this type of haml needs something to be considered, which is not mentioned, but you have considered it. You wanted to say Zaydun dhu adl. Zayd possesses adl. Zayd possesses knowledge. Yeah? Of course, maybe you say, then why we didn't say Zaydun zu ilm or Zaydun alim? Actually, it seems that here, this is a great way of emphasis. We didn't want to say Zaydun zu ilm. We actually wanted to say Zaydun ilmun, means as if Zayd is embodiment of ilm. Yeah? Or is embodiment of justice. If we had said just he is just or he is alim, it didn't have that strength that Zaydun ilmun has. You understand? So, ينقسم الحمل الشائع إلى حمله هو وهو أن يحمل المحمول على الموضوع. يحمل المحمول على الموضوع بلا اعتبار أمر زائد. Mahmul is used as a predicate for subject without considering any additional thing. You don't need to consider zu. نحو الإنسان ضاحك. No problem. Easily match. الإنسان ضاحك. ضاحك is اسم فاعل, can be used for إنسان. إنسان ضاحك. يسمى أيضا حمل المواطعة. This can be called حمل مواطعة. مواطعة means they match each other. تواطؤ means to match, to correspond. مواطعة means they match each other. Second, ينقسم الحمل الشائع إلى حمله هو. This was the first one. وحمل ذي هو. This is atf for حمله هو. The second is حمل ذي هو.
What is a who? What do you mean by who?
Means this is that. Zayd ضاحك. Zayd alim. You don't need to suppose anything. ذي هو أن يتوقف اتحاد المحمول مع الموضوع على اعتبار زائد.
So Pozihu is the situation of Hamla Muwata, isn't it?
Zihu is opposite to Muwata.
Muwata is matching.
Match.
But when you say
Zihu doesn't match, so you have to bring a catalyst.
more,
It is with-
put more emphasis. So when you say Zaid is justice, aren't you trying to say
Uh-huh.
Zaid is
No.
is-
That's another way. That's the way I said.
Yeah.
It's like majaz. You remember we said majaz, you can say Asad means Rajul Shuja,
Yeah.
and you can say no, Asad means lion.
Yeah.
This is majaz that it's not majaz fil luqa. Yeah, there are two ways to define. Sometimes you say this term Asad means Rajul Shuja. Sometimes you say no, Asad means lion. But we have stretched our usage of sentence. by saying he is lying. I didn't want to say he's a brave man.
Yes.
If I wanted to say brave man, I could have said rajulun shuja. Why I said lion? Here, why I said adlun? I could have said adlun. Adil is more beautiful than zu adl. Yeah? When I say adl, I wanted to say adl. Otherwise, I could have said adil. وحمل ذي هو وهو أن يتوقف اتحاد المحمول مع الموضوع على اعتبار زائد. And that is when the unity of mahmul with mawzu, unity of predicate and subject, depends on i'tibar zahid, additional consideration. You need additional consideration, otherwise it doesn't match, it doesn't fit. Kataqdir. What is that additional consideration? Taqdir. Taqdir the. You have to suppose the. I am sure you remember from Nahv, Ilmun Nahv. Sometimes we say something is mahzuf, sometimes we say something is muqaddar. What's the difference between muqaddar and mahzuf? Mahzuf means it's deleted. Muqaddar means it's not mentioned, but it is meant. When something is deleted. But when something is meant, but not mentioned, we say it's muqaddar. Means it is as if it was mentioned. Okay? Muqaddar. So, here, taqdir zi, not hasf zi. It's not deleted. Although both of them, whether it is mahdhuf or muqaddar, it's not mentioned. But this is meant. Not mentioned, but meant. Taqdir zi. Zu, you know, zu, the, za. Zu, when it is marfu, it's zu. When it is mansub, it's za. When it is majroor, it's zi. It's the same thing. Taqdir zi, like when we suppose zi. Aw al-ishtiqaq. Al-ishtiqaq. Ishtiqaq means instead of zi, we take mushtaq from that noun. For example, we say adl means adil. Either we say adl means zu adl or mean adl means adil. You know, ishtiqaq, mushtaq, jamad and mushtaq, you know. كزيدون عدلون أي ذو عدل أو عادل. عادل is mushtaq, اسم فاعل, اسم مفعول, صفة مشبهة, صيغة مبالغة. These are mushtaq. Yeah, means they are taken from a root. So this was the first classification. Haml Shayi' Sana'i is divided into who and zihu. Another classification. ينقسم أيضا إلى بطي وغير بطي. I told you, I think this story. Someone had gone to Qom, Masjid Azam, and so one of ulama is giving lecture. And they are all men. And he was surprised, he said his friend, I went, this alim was talking to men, but he was always saying, Ey Zan, Ey Zan. Zan in Farsi means woman. And A means oh. So why say, oh woman? There was no woman. Because in Farsi, we many times don't pronounce vad as vad, other than salat or, dua. For us, we pronounce it the same. So he was surprised. Everyone was man, but this alim was saying, oh woman. So this أيضا وينقسم أيضا إلى بطي وغير بطي. So أيضا means also. it is also divided into batti wa ghayra batti. Bat, not bat. Bat means duck. Yeah, but bat means something which is decisive. You know, we say al-batata, definitely decisive. Here we mean by batti something that exists. Ghayra batti means doesn't exist. It doesn't have real instances. For example, if we talk about insan, hiwan, all these things, they can have real examples. But if we say al-ma'doom al-mutlaq, la yukhbaru an. You remember we had this discussion, ma'doom al-mutlaq, absolute nothingness, cannot be a subject that you inform about it. Do we have ma'doom al-mutlaq? We don't have any example for ma'doom al-mutlaq. This is called ghayra batti. Ghayra batti. Or, for example, ijtima'un naqidain. Mustahil. It's impossible. Do we have example for ijtima'un naqidain? No, we cannot have example. Because it's not possible. Okay? So this is called ghayru batti. Means it doesn't have real examples. Al-batti ما كانت لموضوعه أفراد محققة يصدق عليها. Batti is the one that for its subject there are afrad, individuals, instances that are muhaqqaqah, they are real, exist. يصدق عليها عنوانه. Its title can be applied to them. Yeah? So you have instances, individuals that this concept can be applied to them. For example, al-insanu zahikun. Insan is zahik. Insan is zahik. Insan has examples who are real human beings who laugh, for example. They're real. Or al-katibu mutaharrikul asabi'. Katib, writer. Mutaharrikul asabi' means moves his fingers. Because in order to write, you need to move your fingers. So there can be real people that are katib and they move their fingers. وغير البتي, but we have also غير البتي. ما كانت لموضوعه أفراد مقدرة غير محققة. They have individuals, instances, examples which are muqaddara. What does muqaddar mean here? This is not nahw. That's different. Muqaddar here means farzi. It's ala taqdir hada. Muqaddara means farzi. Means they are not real. We suppose them. What is good for something which is supposed? Suppositional, we can say suppositional.
Something not real?
Yeah, yes, that's غير محققة means unreal.
Imaginary?
Imaginary is different. You can say imaginary, but not in the, you know, because sometimes imagination means something that still can exist. For example, I can imagine a horse with 5 heads. This is imaginary, but it can be real. But ma'dum mutlaq can never happen. Okay? So it's farzi. supposition, I don't know, we can say suppositional or...
It just says here not real.
No, not real is غير محققة.
Subsumed.
Subsumed, you can say suppose or so, but I want a kind of adjective. Pardon? Suppositional is good? Okay. If you are happy, I am happy. كقولنا كل معدوم مطلق فإنه لا يخبر عنه. Every or any معدوم مطلق, absolute nothingness, cannot be informed about. You cannot say anything about it. You cannot give any information about it. You cannot have any predicate about it. But real معدوم مطلق, not concept of معدوم مطلق. You remember we said concept of معدوم مطلق by itself is not معدوم مطلق. Yeah? Examples of معدوم مطلق. كل اجتماع النقيضين محال. Two contradictory things to come together is impossible. It can never happen. Therefore, we don't have real example for اجتماع النقيضين. Examples are only suppositional. Okay? If you don't mind, one more paragraph. If you mind, then the whole page. You don't mind? Certainly you don't mind.
You mind and our mind will go.
ينقسم أيضا إلى بسيط ومركب. Another classification of حمل is بسيط and مركب. Simple or compound. You are familiar with this. You remember we said حلية بسيطة, حلية مركبة. Sometimes we just inform about existence or non-existence of the subject. زيدون موجود or زيدون ليس بموجود. In both cases it's حلية بسيطة. Do you know why we call it حلية بسيطة? Whoever can answer, I give him 1 mark for final exam. So far, no one has got anything for final exam, no? If we didn't have anything, okay. Why we call it حلية بسيطة?
Because you don't care about the details of the existence, you just want to know whether it's there or not. So it's best.
You can improve. Don't say I cannot improve.
You cannot come to your standard.
Huh?
Cannot come to your standard. There can always be improvement. Your standard is very high.
Maybe to just try and see what is something as such. You don't want to go into it.
So first you have to go for hal.
It's an answer to the question, hal. It can be basit or murakkab.
Yes. You remember we said one of the most important forms of question is the question by using hal. أس المطالب ثلاث. There are 3 major questions that you can ask. The most fundamental questions that you can ask are 3. مطلب ما, مطلب حل, مطلب لم. مطلب ما, مطلب حل, مطلب لم. This is the second thing that the angels ask philosophers. After that rule. أس المطالب. أس means foundation, أساس. أس المطالب ثلاث. The foundation of questions are 3. مطلب ما means a question with ma. What it is. But question in its essence. أي شيء هو في ذاته. مطلب هل. هل زيد موجود or هل زيد قائم. The answer for question by hal is yes or no. Yeah? Hal always the answer is yes or no. Matlabul lim means lemada. Why? What? Whether? Why? So matlabu hal means question with hal. So hal then can have two types. Hal basite, hal murakkabe. Sometimes you say, is something mawjood or not? This is basit, this is simple. Why? Because the question is about existence and non-existence. But sometimes hal is murakkab, is compound. Is this, that? Is Zayd qa'im? Not just Zayd mawjood. If I say hal Zaydun mawjoodun, it's easier. But hal Zaydun qa'im? This is murakkab. Like kanaye tamme, kanaye naqise. Sometimes I say kana Zaydun is tamme, means Zayd was there, that existed. But sometimes kana Zaydun aliman. In nahv, but also in usul we discussed. Okay. So haliye basite means it is only about existence or non-existence of the subject. But haliye murakkabe is more than just existence. It's about subject having something or not having something. ينقسم أيضا إلى بسيط ومركب ويسميان. These two are called الحلية البسيطة والحلية المركبة. Okay, simple حلية or compound حلية. الحلية البسيطة ما كان المحمول فيها وجود الموضوع. حلية بسيطة is the one that محمول, the predicate in this type, is وجود, existence of موجود. زيدون موجودون. هل زيدون موجودون? Is the question. كقولنا الإنسان موجودون. This is answer to هل زيدون موجودون. Or هل إنسان موجودون. Whatever it is. المركبة ما كان المحمول فيها أثرا من آثار وجوده. Predicate is not the existence of subject. Is athar, is an effect of the effects of existence. Like al-insanu dhahku. Dhahk is different from wujud. If you exist, one of the things that can happen is that you laugh. One of the things is that you sit, you stand, you write, yeah? So, question of halil insanu dhahikun is haliyya murakkabe. So this sentence is also is murakkabe. Okay? So if we say this haml is murakkab, it means that it matches or corresponds to haliyya murakkabe. Haliyya murakkabe. You don't see hal here. This is haml. But this haml is a response to the question about haliyya murakkabe. Is it clear? Okay. Now, I don't mention the next one. It's already discussed previously, but we can explain it later. Just as a reminder, this is a question about ثبوت شيء لشيء فرع ثبوت المثبت له. When you affirm something for something, it means that that thing should exist. I cannot attribute something to something which doesn't exist. Then how this works when the subject is ma'doom or things like this, inshallah we discuss it in the next session. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.